Hello, my name is Tim Syth, and I'm presenting to you on how to balance your entrepreneurial life during the pandemic. These are stressful times for all of us, but I want to share with you a few tips and tricks and thoughts that will maybe help you reduce your stress and be more effective and be healthier during these times. I'm going to be talking about four topics today. The first topic is take care of your body. The second is take care of your mind. The third is demonstrate leadership. And the fourth is do the work you can do. Let's jump right in. So taking care of your body. This is about fundamentals. Focus on the basics, don't overthink it, and don't worry about meeting any standards. A lot of the times when we think about taking care of our body, this involves eating well, sleeping well, exercise, and spending time outside. But there are no standards you need to meet here. You don't have to eat a certain amount of salad a day. You don't have to sleep 6 or 8 or 12 hours a day. You don't have to run 10 miles. What you should do is, how do you just improve upon what you have? So if you're sleeping 5 hours a day, try to get 6. If you're eating salad once a week, can you try to eat that 2 or 3 times a week, or some other healthier foods? Can you watch your consumption of caffeine, because caffeine can mess with our sleep schedules? Spending time outside is particularly difficult in Wisconsin in the winter, but we know that when you spend time outside, is your blood pressure goes down, your stress gets reduced, and you start to feel more connected. So even if you can get outside for a little bit, bundle up, put your long underwear on and stay warm, is going outside will actually help you manage stress. It's a simple thing, it's a small thing, but it's something that's free to do because you can do it just going right out your door. Something you should not do is increase your alcohol consumption. These are some facts. 16% of all adults have increased their alcohol consumption. 1 in 4 millennials, so that's 25% of millennials have increased their alcohol consumption, and nearly 1 in 5 Gen Xers. So the younger you are, the more alcohol is being consumed. It might seem like a good idea because you're at home more, you've got less to do, but watch the alcohol consumption. It affects our sleep. It affects our health and wellness. If you do get sick, having consumed a lot of alcohol affects how easily your body will recover from that. So I wanted to bring up this point is because alcohol consumption has gone up quite a bit during the pandemic. And so I'm guessing some of you people out there I might be talking to you, is be careful with your alcohol consumption. We're sitting at home. It can be a little bit difficult to look for something to do, and cracking open a beer or having a drink can be easy and can come naturally, but we want to be careful not to overdo it. Having a drink on occasion is fine, but if you've noticed that your alcohol consumption has gone up during the pandemic, this might be one area you want to focus on and try to reduce that alcohol consumption. The next topic I want to talk about is how to take care of your mind. Just like we take care of our body, we have to take care of what's inside of our head. This is the same slide as before, and I recognize that, is you need to eat well, sleep well, exercise, and spend time outside to take care of your mind as well as to take care of your body. What you eat during the day will affect how your mind is. It will affect your emotions. I know for me that if I have too much coffee, I get agitated and I can become a little bit of a pain in the butt with my wife. I need to be careful of that. I don't like to drink coffee very often because it makes me jittery and uncomfortable. So what I eat and drink affects my mind. Similarly with sleep, if I don't get enough sleep, I'm not being productive, I'm not as happy, and it affects my mental health. Exercise is a big thing. I try to exercise 4 days a week. If I don't exercise, I start to feel slow and low energy. I tend to be a little bit more pessimistic, kind of a little, slightly depressed probably. Exercise for me just it cleanses my mind, cleanses my body, and it makes me feel more energized. I also like to spend time outside. I'm a big gardener. It's hard to garden in the winter. I did just shovel snow for an hour just because it just snowed just today. But being outside connects me to the larger world, connects me to the community. You can say hi to people when you're outside, but spending time outside is good for your physical health, and it's also good for your mental health. A big thing you can do is reduce time spent on your phone or spent on screens, right? A lot of us right now are spending a lot of time on social media, a lot of time on our phone. is be conscientious of that. If you're just looking at Facebook or YouTube, like maybe turn that off and try to find something else to do. I will say that if you are spending time on your phone, is focus on communicating with the people who are important in your life. So if you're chatting with friends, chatting with family, if you're texting, that's a good use of your phone time. If you're just scrolling down Facebook and not responding to anybody, that's not a good use of your phone time. We need to be very careful of this because we can automatically grab our phones. We can automatically end up on YouTube. I do that all the time. I go to my phone to do some work and suddenly I find myself on YouTube. You have to be very careful of this, but use your phone to communicate with people that are important to you. Don't use your phone to for things that aren't useful. Take me time. So part of taking care of your body is focusing on yourself. Oftentimes when we're at home right now, we're surrounded by family, we're surrounded by kids. It's hard to have some space. It's okay to tell your spouse, to tell your roommate, to tell your kids, to tell whomever, mom and dad, whomever. It's to say, hey, look, I just need some time for myself, to breathe, to go slow, to relax. Taking me time is a really healthy practice, and particularly right now, it's important to do. Some suggestions for me time is reading, watching a movie, cooking, gardening, growing plants. That's what I do all the time. I love plants, so I spend a lot of time with plants. Doing arts and crafts or meditating. Just finding some time to do something that isn't work, that isn't a responsibility that you need to do for someone else. Like if you're taking me time does not include you doing a task for someone else. It would include you doing something nice for someone else because you want to do it. But taking that me time is a really important step that you should be considering and working in on a weekly basis for certain. If possible, you should take some me time every day. Talk about mental health. So the opposite of not taking care of our mind is mental health issues. This is as a result of COVID, right? We're seeing 3 times as many anxiety symptoms. We're seeing 4 times as much depression. And specifically, 62.9% of 18 to 24-year-olds reported an anxiety or depressive disorder. So young people in particular, those of us under the age of 25, if that's you, you should be taking extra care with your mental health. If that's not you, but you should be asking people who are in that age range, who are less than 25, and also youth, we should be asking youth how they're doing. We know a lot of teenagers are also having some major stress issues right now. We have to talk about mental health. We have to check in and ask how you're doing. This isn't some sort of invitation to be someone's therapist. It's more of, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? If you're not feeling okay, is there something I can do to help, or can I point you in the right direction? Talking about mental health doesn't need to be forbidden. It doesn't need to be a sensitive space. You can just say, hey, how's it going? And someone says, I'm doing good. And then you can say, really, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay? How's life? Because I know for me personally, the pandemic has meant some anxiety, lots of moments of anxiety. And I need to be able to own that and tell others about that. And you should feel comfortable telling others if you're feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed. And you certainly should feel comfortable asking others if they have those same symptoms. We need to check in on mental health, and we need to be there for each other. It's an important time right now as a society, and mental health is at the core of all that. Demonstrate leadership. This is particularly important for business owners. As a business owner, you are a leader in the community. A community leader cares about the well-being of the entire community. Right. So a lot of us are business owners, and if you're not a business owner, maybe you're a manager or you're just an employee, but you're also can be a community leader. But this is specifically for business owners, is you are seen as a leader in the community. And so are you acting like one? Are you setting a good example? Are you taking care of the community? Are you caring about the well-being of the entire community? This doesn't mean that you have to go out and solve everyone's problems, but what you need to think about is, are you operating your business, and are you operating your business in a way that improves the life of your employees, that takes care of the health and wellness of your employees, takes care of the health and wellness of your clients? So as a business owner, you are a community leader, whether you want to be one or not. And you need to ask yourself are you setting a good example for your children and for your grandchildren and for the rest of the community? If people came in and looked under the hood at how you're running your business, is it something you can be proud of? It's a tough time to run a business right now, but that doesn't give us an excuse to not do the right work. Along those lines, being a leader sometimes means doing the things that are uncomfortable and difficult. There's debates right now about whether this virus is dangerous or not. As a business owner, it's your job to be conservative and to take care of the most vulnerable people. So yeah, you might be safe, you might be okay. Maybe you've had COVID and you didn't get very sick, but it is affecting a lot of communities. It's affecting the Latino community, it's affecting the Black community more so than the white community, but it's affecting all communities. And so as a leader, is you have to sometimes do the things that are uncomfortable and difficult. That might be asking everyone to wear a mask. It might be making your business safe so that people can socially distance. I think a big part of the discomfort can be educating yourself. Is right now we're in a time of a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of information out there. You know, our uncle and our friend on Facebook is giving us medical information about COVID. Unless your uncle or friend are doctors, I don't recommend taking your advice from people who aren't experts. I'm not going to tell you what to believe or what to think, but I would encourage you is to go out, do research and do critical thinking for yourself. Go out and read what's going on out in the world, and you'll be better aware of what COVID means, how it can be managed, and how it is affecting society. I would also encourage you to make sure you're looking outside of your bubble, whatever that may be, right? Right now we live in a world where we're each fed information that we like online, and it also ends up being the same stuff on the TV. Is we have to look outside of our comfort zone for other information that we may or may not agree with. And we need to spend time processing that information to make sure that what we believe is correct. We know that as individuals is we have a really hard time changing our perspective, as you can give us facts and will not. And you can give us a fact that is the opposite of something that we believe, and we will just keep believing what we believe. Our minds play tricks on us. And so right now it's important to educate ourselves and make sure you're finding information that's true and objective, because there's a lot of information out there that isn't that great. So managing your information diet's an important part about being a leader. Being a good leader will positively influence your personal health and the health of your business. Is if you're being a good leader, is you're going to be out in the community, you're going to see others, it's going to make you feel good to being out and being a good leader. And also it's going to affect your business. If your business is known as something, as one that was upstanding and was serving people and would take care of people during COVID, during the pandemic, that will stick with your business. You should be running your business with a lot of integrity and a lot of respect. And if you do that, that will come back. That will influence your reputation, and it will make your business, better. So being a good leader and participating in the community and helping in those ways is good business practice. It's not something that it's nice to have on the side. Is like, you should be demonstrating good leadership as a business owner, because it will affect your business. Along these same lines, seek ways you can help others who are less fortunate. A lot of people are struggling right now. I mean, I'm assuming some of you out there are also struggling right now, but there's a lot of folks who have it even worse than each of us. There's always people who are less fortunate than we ourselves are. And a way to keep yourself humble and to have gratitude for what you have and the advantages you have and the resources you have is to help others who are less fortunate. There's a lot of people right now struggling. Food pantries, you can volunteer at food pantries. You can volunteer through your church. There's a lot of ways you can participate, but try to be helpful to others if you can. It's what we need as a society, and it'll also help your own sense of well-being and your own mental health. Do the work you can do. So as a business owner, there's a lot of things we can't do right now, but there's a lot of things that we can do. We need to focus on the things that we can do. First and foremost, we need to understand that we are likely to have at least 6 more months of dealing with COVID, and 6 months would be potentially best case scenario. It's going to take a long time to get everyone vaccinated, and a lot of people aren't going to get vaccinated. The reality is COVID could be around much longer than that. It might be something that becomes like the flu that we're dealing with on a regular basis. But you have to think long term here. And so practice patience. So some of the work that you can do is be thinking, what's my business look like in 6 months? What's my business look like in 12 months? That's the way you need to be thinking right now. That's the work you need to be doing. A lot of us, we can't do some of the regular things, whether it's serve as many people in a restaurant or, we're not cleaning as many houses. Is right now is a great time to be doing things, to be thinking about, if something isn't working, what is the opportunity for change? If what you are doing isn't working, take that opportunity to change. This is going to be different. Society is going to be different. The economy is going to be different after COVID. Some of it will come back, but other things will have changed forever. And so if what you're doing isn't working, it might be a sign to say, hey, look, I need to really think about what the future holds. I would not recommend just sitting and waiting and hoping and planning that COVID's going to be gone someday and it's just going to go back to how it was. People's habits are changing. People's perspectives are changing. And that means our businesses need to evolve. So if what you're doing isn't working, you need to take the opportunity to change. Now is a great time to do that. Do strategy and planning work. So maybe what you're doing is working. Maybe what you're doing isn't working. Either way, you have to do strategy and planning work right now. Look for the new opportunities. As an example, we know that more people are using mail order for retail, for shopping. Amazon is making so much money right now. But what can we learn from Amazon? I'm not saying Amazon's necessarily a good thing, but we understand that more people are going to be used to that type of service. How can your business learn from what Amazon is doing and offer similar things, right? Can you offer things online? Can some of your services be moved online? What are the new opportunities out there that you could take advantage of? Now is a great time to do strategy and planning work, particularly right now. It's the turn of the year. It's going to be, 2020 is thankfully going to be behind us, and we're looking at 2021. And so now is a great time to be thinking, all right, what's next for me? What's next for my business? Use partners, peers, and external experts as resources. This is my first pandemic. This is your first pandemic, unless you're very, very old. There's very few of us who've been through pandemics before, which means none of us are experts in managing a business during a pandemic. With that in mind, is use your partners, use your peers, and use external experts. There's a lot of resources out there right now. There's a lot of people offering to help. That said, as I said before, you need to educate yourself on what resources are accurate, right? There's a lot of people offering advice. Not all advice is the correct advice for you. And so this is something that you need to internalize, is use the partners, use the peers, external experts as resources, but also make sure that information applies to you and is correct. The Latino Chamber of Commerce is a great resource. The Latino Entrepreneurial Network is a great resource. There's also many other resources that you can use and take advantage of, but this isn't a fight. You should be fighting on your own. This is something that you should think about helping others. You should think about the help of others. None of us are an expert in this. All of us, this is the first time for all of us. And so, look for that help, ask for that help, and be happy, and don't worry about not looking like you know what you're doing. None of us know what we're doing during a pandemic. We're all looking to learn. One thing we need to do now as well is communicate thoughtfully. Oftentimes we're spending a lot of time on our phone. We're talking to a smaller groups of people. We're not dealing with as many people and we also don't know what each person is dealing with. Each of us has our own experiences and perspectives. There's many people in the community who've lost someone to COVID right now. And so if you're making light of what it means to have COVID, is know that more and more folks know someone who has passed away because of COVID. Know that people have lost jobs. People are struggling with food security. People are struggling with money. So as you communicate thoughtfully. Be aware of that. Be careful. Communicate with care. And have respect for people's own experiences and perspectives. It's easy to be on edge. People are drinking more. People are having mental health issues. Communicating thoughtfully is a way that we can contribute and be out in the world and be positive. Be a positive influence when you communicate. Be careful. Be full of care when you talk with folks, and just try to express gratitude and look for kind of our common humanity. Finally, the most important thing you can do is remember the things that are most important: health, family, and friends. These are the things that you want to be taking care of more than anything. Our businesses may be struggling, but if you can take care of your health and you can take care of your family and you can take care of your friends, or your friends and family can take care of you, is that's what they're there for. Is we need to have gratitude and be thankful for the things that we do have, the experiences that we do have, and our health. So most important in all this is, keep the big picture in mind. Don't get lost in the details. Don't get sucked into our phones too much and be worrying about things that don't matter. Health, family, and friends are the things that you should be rallying around, taking care of, and leaning on, right? For those of you who are struggling, is talk to your friends, talk to your family. This isn't something any of us should be carrying alone. If you do have stress and you're having some issues, and if you're lucky enough to have health and solid family and friends taken care of, look to help and support others. So thank you for your time. It's been great to share this experience with you. I appreciate your attention, and I'm wishing you best of luck going into the new year.